Let me tell you something. I am going to bring you fabulous, fantastic flight experiences, and the YouTube viewers are going to pay for it.
He said he got 8 inches, but I'm Filipina, so bro lasted 23 seconds, cried about the grip, asked if I'm human, became religious after.
Haven't seen much passport bro content in a while, so I figured I'd post this video. And obviously that clip in the beginning, that was me on my way to and from the Philippines. And I was taking Philippine Airlines. It was at that time, it was their brand new A350-900. And the A350-900 is a very, very important aircraft. Now, first of all, I'd like to say Boeing sucks, and Boeing sucks really, really bad. In fact, as an American, I'm very embarrassed that Boeing even exists. We all know the reasons why. We know that Boeing has played games with safety. Boeing has focused on corporate profits while playing games with our safety. We know that Boeing's had a string of crashes. We know that Boeing, people who've been whistleblowers have turned up dead for whatever reason, allegedly. And long story short, I love Airbus. I love Airbus A380. I love the Airbus A350. And the A350-900 is extremely important because the A350-900 basically connects any two cities on the planet Earth. The longest route is if you fly from New York City, that's where I am, all the way over to Singapore. And you land at Changi Airport. That's a 19-hour flight. And I know most people are terrified at the thought of that because the problem is, in their mind, they're focused on flying in economy. How can I make it in economy for 19 hours? But what Singapore did was they say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make it so that 80% of this plane is business class and 20% of this plane is premium economy. So that means that in premium economy, you get seats where you can recline as much as possible, but in business class, you have seats where you can fold flat. And 80% of the plane is business class. That was brilliant. So the A350-900 can fly from New York City all the way over to Manila, which is in the Philippines, 16-hour flight. Now, right now, the only nonstop I can think of is on the A350 with Philippine Airlines, where you fly from New York City to Manila or Manila back to New York City. And I think they also fly pretty much everywhere else. But that's a long flight. It's 16 hours. So thanks to the A350-900, we can pretty much fly anywhere between any two cities on Earth. And that's a good thing. So a lot of new planes being bought by these airlines are A350-900s. And Emirates is buying those. Qatar Airlines has bought those. Etihad has bought those. And most of these Asian airlines are buying them. Unfortunately, the rest of these airlines, they keep buying these shitty, boring, garbage-ass Boeing planes. The 787 Dreamliner sucks. And I know that some people would probably challenge me on that. The 787 Dreamliner is narrower than the 777-300ER that I flew on to go with A&A in their The Room business class. So what it is that when you're in a 787, they started this bullshit where they cant the seats towards the windows, so they call it a reverse herringbone. So the people are sitting on an angle towards the window rather than sitting parallel to the fuselage, right? I hate that because it's cramped, and it only tries to hide the fact that it's cramped, and it's just not as nice. I hate that. I like having a 1x2x1 configuration where I sit next to the window, and I'm usually going to be in business class sitting next to the window. I'm not doing that economy shit ever again, and I hope that more and more people will be able to move out of economy towards business class eventually. Maybe someday they'll get rid of economy altogether, and they'll actually treat people like human beings and give us enough space where we can lay flat so that this way we can enjoy a flight that takes that long. Because that's when you're talking 19-hour flights, that's a long-ass time to be sitting on a plane. It's not even like a train where you can get up and walk around. Like, I've taken the Amtrak from New York City to Florida, and that was 24 hours to go to, like, Disney World. But you can get up, you can walk around, the train has stops and stuff. You can't do that on an airplane. So my thing is, hopefully someday they'll get rid of economy altogether, but I don't think that's going to happen because these corporate greed bastards are too busy, pilfering the money and making us like sitting there like goddamn sardines. So I get it, besides the point. Southwest just gave American passport bros a oh shit. How did I do that? Southwest just gave American passport bros an easier route to one of their favorite destinations. So now you've got people actively talking to the passport bros, not about them. So this person's name is Sunil Parush. And it says the term passport bro. Here we go. Now I gotta make sure we understand the terms. Term passport bro, popularized on social media, refers to black men, typically black men, who travel or relocate abroad in search of a perceived better lifestyle or romantic relationships with women from other countries. Now, the term passport bro specifically speaks of black men. White men have been going abroad to Asia and South America. They've been doing that for a very long time. But only when black men did it did the term passport bro come up. Because when you say the word bro, you're talking about black men. And it was actually, we have proof that it was about black men. But see, the reason why they've attributed it to white men is because there's a lot of them trying to ride the coattails of the name so that this way they can, pump their YouTubes and they can make some money by capitalizing on the name. At one point, you actually had people fighting about trademarking passport bro, but the reality is they can't trademark. The term can't be trademarked at this point because it's an older term than these YouTubers would like to admit. So the simple fact is passport bros are black men doing this traveling. Now, I call the white men who do it, I call them those are the passport Joes, because when they were going over there to Southeast Asia, they were referred to as Joes, like G.I. Joe, right? And then some of these women have tried to call us human traffickers because we're getting beautiful wives that are much younger than them and much healthier than them. So they've tried to criminalize it because they're disgusted by the fact that we're taking our resources abroad and we're uplifting those young, beautiful women who need husbands. Like we're going to these poor countries and we're finding young, beautiful women with dirty, filthy feet, and we're taking them off of the streets and we're saying, hey, you know what, honey? You know what? You need a husband and I need a wife. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those dirty feet and I'm going to put those dirty feet in my kitchen. And you're going to be in my house. You're going to be my wife. And of course, what do they say? Oh, yes, that would be great. Oh, I would love to be your wife. This is fantastic. I love this. And, then we take those dirty feet and we bring them into the house. And the smart passport bro, you don't immediately clean those feet and put shoes on. No. The smart thing to do is you keep those feet as dirty as long as possible. Because this way, you don't have to worry about her, suddenly jumping on Instagram or fucking TikTok and trying to advertise her ass, and then she leaves your ass like that dude who brought that Kenyan back here, because he shouldn't have done that. He should have left her ass right there in Kenya, but he brought her back here, and then she left his ass for some white man. I already covered that story a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, these women have tried to criminalize the passport bros and try to make it look like we're doing something wrong. The reality is we're doing something very right. In fact, what we're doing is following the laws of nature while these women are wasting their time and their youth. And what they're doing is they're chasing these ridiculously expensive college degrees. They're going deep into debt. And then what's funny, what I'll say, because I like to meander a little bit. What's funny is we have a government shutdown right now, and you got these women complaining, 300,000 of these black women were laid off. Now, what's interesting is anytime they're trying to sucker us into voting, they always put a black face on it, right? It's just like with welfare and with food stamps and shit. The vast majority of the people on welfare and food stamps are actually white, right? But what they do is they put a black face on it. Liberal white feminism does that because what they're trying to do is sucker black people into voting the way they vote. Now, here I am, a black Republican. I'm a real Republican. I'm not one of these fucking crazy ass people from January 6th. No, I'm a real Republican who believes in fiscal conservatism, and I don't believe in the welfare state, right? I'm kind of like Rand Paul and Ron Paul. Ron Paul and Rand Paul, they're running as libertarians, but as far as they're concerned, they're the real Republicans, and these Republicans are welfare voting Republicans, big government conservatives. That's what they are. So the problem is they're making us less look like Republicans. They make us look more like libertarians. But here's the bottom line. These women are complaining that they're losing their jobs. Oh, we lost our federal jobs. 300,000. Now, I'm saying if 300,000 black women lost their job, my question is how many white women lost their job? Because that's the number I haven't heard. And that's the problem. They keep putting our face on everything because they're trying to suck us into voting with them. I don't do that. I don't follow nobody. I don't vote with them. It's not going to work. I'm smarter than you are. So, they try to criminalize the passport bros when we're taking our resources and our money and we're getting beautiful, young, lovely, gorgeous, attractive wives with dirty feet, right? And they're trying to criminalize us. So what they call us is they call us traffickers. But here's the thing. That's illegal. And we're not doing anything illegal. We have licenses. We've got marriage licenses. And we go over there, we get a marriage. And the beautiful thing about it is that's all legal, right? The people who are bad guys are not us. The passport bros are black men searching for relationships abroad. The passport Joes are white men searching for those relationships abroad. What they're trying to call us is trying to call us traffickers. No, no, no. Those are the transport bros. They're called the transport bros because they transport hoes. That's not us. And then, you have these women, those are passport hoes. And you also have the Chinese, not to be confused with the Chinese, because you have the passport hoes, or the passport Jose's, which those are like Hispanic guys who go and they try to look for women abroad. But that's besides the point. I'm not going to talk about that. So anyway, it says the term passport bro popularized on social media refers to black men who travel or relocate abroad in search of a perceived better lifestyle or romantic relationships with women from other countries. One of those countries favored by Western black men, among many, is the Philippines. Now, see, honestly, I have to kind of stop right there. Black men are, for whatever reason, black men have found it unavoidable that they have to go to Brazil and they got to go to what is that other place? Colombia, because they're chasing these big booty Latinas. That big booty Latinas are like another species almost. And they got some big booties. I mean, they got big booty. And I'm not even talking about the BBLs, those fake ass surgeries where it looks like you're wearing a diaper and you look stupid. No. They got these big booty Latinas down there in Brazil, and it's literally getting these black men to pay big money to fly down there to Brazil, Colombia, Dominican Republic. And when I'm saying big booties, I'm saying exactly what it is. They got these big bubble butt Brazilians and these big bubble butt like I've met Colombian girls. That shit'll change your life. And these black men, I can't convince them not to go there. There's a lot of crime down there. And I don't like going places where there's crime. I like to go to countries with totalitarian rule, where they keep their people under control. So these guys go down there and they get drugged, scopolamine and whatnot. And the countries I go to, if any of them people even tried to do that to me and they got caught with any of them drugs, they'd be executed. I don't like to go to places with crime. I like to go to places that are calm and peaceful because their government has their foot on everybody's necks. I've lived in China. I've been to South Korea. I've been to Japan. Because keep in mind, Japan is a beautiful place. Japan still got the death penalty. They hang people Like, first of all, they don't even tell you the day you're going to die. They just let you live up until that day, right? They don't even tell you when it's going to happen. And then what they do is they take you into a room, they put your head in a noose, and then they drop the floor from underneath you, kind of like what they did to Saddam Hussein. The Japanese don't play over there. They do not play. I've been to Singapore recently. Everybody's scared of Singapore. Oh, they punish you over there if you do. You know what? I follow the rules and regulations, so I don't have a problem when I go to these countries. I don't do drugs. I don't take drugs to places. I just went to Indonesia. I went to Bali. I don't do stuff like that. Some of you people who can't control yourselves and you think that the government's playing games with your ass because you're used to America, well, y'all can't go nowhere, so you might as well not have a passport. Me, I've been all over the world. Dubai, China, Philippines, Singapore. I've been everywhere. And I'm going to keep going places. And the thing about it is y'all can't handle it, so y'all might as well stay home. But when I go to these places, yes, the government's not playing no games. The floors are spotless. The trains are spotless. The buses are spotless. You don't have to worry about people with knives. You don't have to worry about nobody committing crimes to you or you're a tourist. Somebody might hate America and they're not going to do nothing to you because if their government gets their hands on them for messing with you, their government's going to take their head off. And that's what I like. I like going places where I ain't got to worry about nothing because the government's got their foot on their neck. I love it. So, I say that to say this. Black men, y'all going to keep on going down to Brazil and Colombia and Dominican Republic despite the fact that those aren't the safest places in the world because y'all are chasing them bubble butt Latinas. And that's the simple fact. But the others who decide that, you know what, I don't want a big bubble butt Latina. I would like a smart, young, beautiful Asian wife. And you guys go to Japan, China, South Korea, or you go to like Philippines, Thailand, you know, or I really can't say Bali and Indonesia because those women really aren't that great. They're kind of short. But Philippines has what it's called. Philippines is a favorite destination for a simple reason, and then I'll move on. Number one, the girls speak English. And number two, they're Christian. So for the most part, even though their feet are dirty, they speak English and they're Christian.
When he brags about 7 inches, but, Sir, I'm Filipina. That's a weapon to us. You won't survive the grip. Lower your voice.
And they're actually very nice people. So, the Philippines is definitely a favorite destination. So anyway, Western men among many is the Philippines. Now, a newly announced partnership between Southwest Airlines and Philippine Airlines is offering a more seamless travel route between the U.S. and the Philippines. The partnership between these airlines is a significant boost for travelers from both countries. First of all, if you're in the Philippines, you're not traveling here because America has such strict immigration laws that you can barely get a tourist visa to come here. When we, however, want to go there, all you got to do is get on the plane. Your tourist visa is basically either built into the price or you pay for it when you get there. I think it's like less than $50. Okay. Including those American passport holders who can now enjoy an easier way to travel to the Philippines. The interline agreement will allow passengers to book connecting flights with both their Philippine Airlines international flight and their Southwest domestic connection using a single ticket. The Federal Aviation Administration, which is right now shut down, so all of these goddamn airports are all fucked up, decision to reduce flight schedules at 40 major U.S. airports is unlikely to impact this initiative as the FAA lists of airports include Southwest's busiest airport. However, with over 100 domestic airports serving destinations in 42 U.S. states, so-called passport bros don't have much to be concerned about. So once again, what this is doing, it says the partnership between these airlines is a significant boost, but what did it say? It says, the Philippine Airlines and Southwest Airlines want to offer a seamless travel route. But here's the thing. Because of airplanes like the A350-900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, we have the ability to go nonstop from just about any city in America to the Philippines. Right now, the Philippine Airlines is the only one I think offering that service. But here's the thing, if we would stop buying those goddamn Boeing airplanes, we'd have more service direct from New York to Manila. Delta Airlines, I believe, has started buying A350-900s instead of shitty-ass Boeing planes, because Boeing is also late with the 777X. They're late because they suck at what they do. I hate Boeing. I wish Airbus would buy them. But anyway, if we just had that plane, we could do this easily. It says Southwest partnership allows all Americans easier access to top Asian destination. So here they have a picture of Southwest Airlines and Philippine Airlines. And obviously, that first plane in the background is obviously the Philippine Airlines A350-900. The second plane to me looks like a 737 MAX B or MAX 8. But I could be wrong. But it looks like one of those series because it's not as big as a 777. And we don't use the 747 much anymore. We're trying to retire that thing. But to tell you the truth, with the number of people who actually travel to the Philippines, what they really should do is have the the A350 is pretty much the best because the A380 can't. It could land there. It's just that the A380 doesn't have the range that the A350 has. So, yeah, that probably wouldn't work. I wish we could, though. I love the A380. I love it. Southwest and Philippine Airlines have announced a strategic partnership that will allow passengers to book connecting flights with both carriers using a single ticket. Yeah. 4 U.S. gateway airports will serve as transfer hubs, allowing Southwest passengers to connect to Philippine Airlines International Network across its hub in Manila and other destinations in Asia, Australia, and the Middle East. In turn, the partnership enables PAL travelers to reach U.S. cities beyond those gateways through Southwest's extensive domestic network. 4 U.S. airports serving as gateways, and obviously none of them are near here. So you got Los Angeles, Seattle, San Francisco, and Hawaii, Honolulu. So basically these are all Pacific bordering airports. So nothing over here for the Atlantic Ocean people like me. Unlike separate bookings on different airlines, the single ticket interline booking will enable the passenger's baggage to be checked through to the final destination and provide coordinated rebooking in the event of a delay that causes a misconnection. Passengers on separate tickets, however, must collect and recheck their bags, and misconnections are typically not the responsibility of the second airline. Yeah, that could be a pain in the ass. I'm not a fan of having to get off of one plane and having to go get your bag and move it to another airplane and recheck it. I hate that. When I fly, I prefer to fly with a single carrier so that this way I don't have to do that, because I had to do that on my last flight when I was when I flew, because I had ANA going from JFK to Tokyo. And then from Tokyo, I had to take a plane to Indonesia. And when I took the ANA flight from Tokyo to Indonesia, at that point, I had to get my bags and recheck them because I had to switch to Garuda Indonesia Airlines, and Garuda took me from Jakarta to Bali. I hate having to recheck bags. Now, if you have a very long layover, it's not a big deal, but I just don't like having to do it. So I did it. I made it. I didn't have a problem. One time when I was flying to China, I missed getting my bag and rechecking my bag, and my bag got lost in the one of the airport, and it took me like 4 or 5 days for them to bring my bags back to me, and I hate that shit with a passion. I hate that shit, and I was basically wearing the same clothes for like 4 days, and that really really sucked. But I got lucky. I got my stuff back, and everything else went fine. but it just is so annoying. So here you have a picture of the Philippine Airlines A3. Oh, this is the 777. You can pretty much tell the difference because it doesn't have the curled up wingtips. So this one's a 777, and this is the Philippine Airlines, and that's an older plane. Now, the 777 itself is not a bad plane if it's like a 300 ER. But the new plane, the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, I hate those. I hate them with a passion. They suck. The agreement supports PAL's strategy to expand its U.S. reach without launching direct flights to every city. But that's what I want. I want direct fucking flights to every city. That's what I want. I don't want to have to do connections. Let me tell you something. I think people are understanding right now just how bad America is. With this government shutdown, and now you've got lots and lots of flights canceled, that just shows you how fucked up this country is, where all it takes is political disagreement to throw off travel. It's almost like you're trapped here. And see, that right there is the sign of a third world country. When you go to these other countries and you can't even be certain that you're going to have connecting flights or that you're going to have flights that are on time, that right there is a sign of a third world country. And it's funny because I haven't heard Donald Trump say that since anytime it's somebody else, he likes to talk shit. Oh, yeah, it's a third world country. It's a shithole. You know, he's the president now, and this is happening under him. Now, I'm not directly blaming him for this, but the Republican Congress and the Democrat Congress having a tiff or a spat and that causing all air travel to basically shut down, that's the sign of a third world country. I've never had that problem anywhere else. I've gone to the Middle East. I've gone to different parts of Asia. Let me tell you something. As a traveler and as a frequent traveler, as you know, I've got a countdown going. I'm going to Vietnam. I'm going to Cambodia. Let me tell you something. As a frequent traveler, the moment you leave United States airspace, there's like a feeling of calm that comes over you. We have the worst TSA. We have the worst security. I've never seen security this bad, this disrespectful, because look at who they hire. They hire morons for it. They hire high school kids who can't do any better. I've never seen such invasiveness. When I was in Singapore, the airport was a freaking mall. And when you go around the mall, you could basically buy stuff at the mall. And what the part that wasn't a mall was the Jewel, and that was damn near a rainforest inside of an airport. The airport was beautiful. The Jewel. Yeah.
The Skytrain does pass. Oh,
Yes.
Then maybe you go from T1 to T2, you can take the Skytrain.
Ah.
等一下我们再坐 Skytrain。
So the waterfall that they have is an infinity edge, and it actually goes all the way up, and you can walk all the way up the steps, and you can go all the way pretty much to the top. You didn't get to security until you got right to the gate. So at the gate, they did security before putting your stuff on the plane, right before putting stuff on the... So if you're carrying luggage, your luggage was basically you had to scan yourself and go through security right before you get on the plane. And I thought that was really interesting because I'd never seen that before. And then if you look at just about every other airport, you basically sign in at that the check-in. They take your large bags, but your small bags you don't scan until you actually get on the plane. Here in America, they still making people strip. They make you take your belt off and all that shit. And the thing about it is, it's like they scan you with a magnetometer and they scan you with all types of shit. These other countries, they're not doing all that stuff. And the simple fact is, ain't nobody hijacking their planes and nobody's trying to blow their planes up. They have other methods of security which are less invasive and they work very well. But then when you factor in the long-waited security and then you factor in this government shutdown shit and you factor in them literally just canceling your flight because, and I think Spirit Airlines has also pissed people off enough where they know exactly what I'm talking about, where you may have a situation where your pilots don't even show up. I mean, I ain't never seen nothing like that before. But what I can say is this. When I leave America and get out of U.S. airspace for this summer or for every summer, whenever I go, there's just a feeling of calm that just comes over you. It's like a feeling of all of a sudden there's like a newfound peace, but being here, you ain't getting that. It's just disgusting. So anyway, the agreements, and so I said all that to basically say this. I don't like connections inside America at all. I don't want any connections. I want to be able to drive right there to JFK, get on the plane, and nonstop fly somewhere else. If that makes sense. That should make sense. It says Southwest Airlines officials offered commentary on the new partnership with Philippine Airlines. It says Southwest Media Page report Andrew Watterson, Southwest Chief Operating Officer, speaking about the partnership with 90 flights a day, nearly 90 flights a day on our schedule that touch the Hawaiian Islands, and as California's largest air carrier, Southwest is positioned like no other airline in serving Philippine Airlines passengers arriving or departing the United States. It says, note the interline agreement between the two airlines finalized on the week beginning November 3rd, 2025. Christopher Gartner, Vice President of Revenue Management, Philippine Airlines, noted, as we continue to expand PAL's global reach, this collaboration provides more travel options and greater flexibility, giving our guests access to a wider range of destinations in the United States. The new partnership will make travel to the Philippines easier from anywhere in the U.S., along with unlocking dozens of new Pacific destinations, adding to Southwest's vast range of destinations accessible through its partnerships. With Philippine Airlines as its newest interline partner, Southwest is expanding its reach beyond its 3 existing international partnerships. Travelers can now book joint itineraries directly through either airline's website and sales channel. So they're marketing this as Passport Bro News, but as you can see, this is basically Southwest Airlines, trying to figure out how they can capitalize on the fact that men are trying to escape this country and they're trying to find peace and happiness somewhere else, specifically the Philippines. So what is it that I think we need? I think we need more direct, nonstop flights between major U.S. airports and Manila. We also need more direct, nonstop flights to Bangkok. We also need more direct, nonstop flights to Bali. Now, the only plane that can accomplish that is the A350-900 for the time being. I don't think the 777-300ER can do that flight, nor do I think they would allow it because they have this shit all fucked up where they want you to... For example, with my trip this summer, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I got to go to Chicago first or something like that. I think I have to go to O'Hare. And I think after that, I fly from O'Hare to Tokyo. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why can't I just fly from JFK direct to Tokyo and then from Tokyo onwards to Vietnam? Or, better yet, where are the nonstop flights to Vietnam? But the only downside is for these nonstop flights, because there's so few of them, they want to charge you top dollar. Like the Philippine Airlines nonstop is over $4,000. Meanwhile, you can get that same flight with the stop in South Korea, Incheon, for about $3,800 or something like that. But as the South Korean flight gets more expensive, the Philippine Airlines flight gets more expensive. So typically you see the Philippine Airlines nonstop for $4,500. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's Emirates money. It's like, I might as well fly to Dubai if that was the case. And keep in mind, I'm talking about business class. All of these tickets are less than $1,500 or somewhere around $1,000 to $1,500 if you're flying economy. I don't fly economy. I refuse to be in economy. I expect to be on that plane with a bowl of soup, sipping my wine, getting my bread. I'm just having a good time, stretched out. I got the fold flat seats and everything. I ain't getting in no fucking economy. I ain't doing that. I'm not doing it. Economy is hell. Economy is for people who have like children and they can't afford to bring the children to business class. It's like, nah, we're not doing that. No. And not only that, on these nonstop flights, I got to have my power supplies. So I got to have 110 volt power. I got to have USB. I got to have everything. I got to have all that, you know? So my thing is, I ain't doing economy no more, ever again. So when I'm on Japan Airlines, I'm flying business class, yo. And most of these airlines, they're dropping first class and they're putting in expanded business class because it's more profitable, I think, for them. But nah, man. It's like we need more non-stop flights to Southeast Asia. That's what we need. And as things get worse between men and women here in America, you'll see more and more passport bros, passport Joes. You'll see more and more of us leaving. And you'll see more and more of us heading down to Southeast Asia. And that's the ticket. That's just the ticket right there. You're not finding any happiness here. I'm sorry. You're not.
White girls need lube. Asian girls need towels. We flood. Literally soaking through mattresses. That's not arousal. That's genetics. Bring protection for your bed.
I attended a wedding recently. In fact, I attended 2 weddings fairly recently, but they were spaced out. You got these women. The first one, I ain't going to name no names. So the first one, you got this chick. She's coming to the altar with another man's child. She's coming to the altar with another man's child. And the dude getting married, oh, he's so excited and everything. And I'm like, why are you excited? She's got another man's kid. Like, why are you excited? So, of course, I didn't say nothing. I just, I didn't say nothing. I ain't going to start nothing. It won't be nothing. I didn't say nothing. This other one, another marriage. You got this chick. She's getting older, got some physical ailments, and, the dude is happy and everything. But with these physical ailments, I'm like, you wouldn't have had those physical ailments if you were doing this when you were 20 or 23 or 24, 25. But these women are waiting till later and later in their life to get married. And they're leaving men with sloppy seconds, another man's child, health defects, health problems. And I'm like, if only you just got your ticket to Brazil, Colombia, Dominican Republic, or Philippines, Bangkok, whatever. If you just got your ticket and got your passport It's like you get yourself a nice, young, beautiful, beautiful wife, and you gotta, when you find a nice, young, beautiful wife, right, in another foreign country, what you gotta do is you gotta lift them up and turn them around and look at their feet, right? If their feet are really, really dirty, that's how you know she's the one. If the feet aren't dirty and she speaks too much English, like it's important that she doesn't speak much English. It's important that she speaks as little as possible. Whatever her language is, yeah, that's perfect. She can speak all that, and you can communicate to her with like those Apple AirPod 3s that got that universal translator in them. That's how you got to do it. But you got to make sure them feet are filthy. Them feet have to be dirty. Like, she could have the whitest skin, but her feet got to be as dirty as fuck. Like, they got to be filthy. And that's how you pick a good wife nowadays. And see, unfortunately, if she marries you, her feet are gradually going to get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. Next thing you know, she's going to sucker your dumb ass into buying her an iPhone for her birthday or Christmas. And next thing you know, you're going to see her taking pictures of herself or videoing herself on TikTok, advertising her ass. And that's what I call it. I call it advertising. She'll be advertising her ass all over the internet. That's when you start having problems. And at that point, when you start having problems with her and she finally decides to buck at you and start arguing with you and shit, if at that point you lift up and you look at her feet, I guarantee her feet are going to be clean. And that's a problem. When you see clean feet, nah, you got a problem there. You got to make sure them feet are filthy. They got to be dirty, filthy feet. As long as they're dirty and filthy, that's how you know you're okay. But when you look at them feet and they start getting clean, no, you got a problem there. You got a problem. So that's basically the story. And I think it's interesting. I need more A350-900s. I love that plane. That's a good plane. And that's just the story for now.
Airplane ticket, just ask for an upgrade. Pay a little extra money to fly first class. What it does is it conditions your mind. Once you get in first class and you see how wide the seats are, everybody get a washcloth, they got a menu, you get to decide what you want, all the drinks is free. Once you sit in first class one time, the next time you get on the plane, it's very difficult to walk past them seats. And then your mind starts thinking of ways to get back to first class. And guess what? That's what you start attracting to your life. And you start behaving and producing stuff to get you back into first class.
White girls need lube, Asian girls need towels. I'm not exaggerating. We literally flood. Your ex needed assistance, we need flood insurance.
To be continued.